Hello, JNV Chitradurga. How are you, students? Hi, students. How are you all? So let us start the class. Before going to start the class, can you tell me whether I'm audible and screen is visible? Okay, fine. So you can answer me, or in the chat box also you can answer me. Fine. Fine, good. So let us start the class. In the last class, what are the things we have studied? Fine. Okay. So student, here is a question for you. Okay. So you can answer to this question in the chat box, or you can answer me in the poll also. Okay. So the question is, first I will read the question, then I will go for the poll. Okay. The question is, which one of the following is the fungal disease? Okay. Option A is tuberculosis. Option B is typhoid. And option C is chickenpox. And option D is ringworm. Very good, Chitradurga. Thank you so much. Very good. Yes. So that is ringworm disease, right? Yes. Fine. So it is the ringworm disease, right? Okay. So in the last class, we have started the malaria. So how the malaria is going to be caused? It is going to be, I've told you some two scientists, they have proved that it is not going to be caused through the foul smelling air. That is the Leveran and the Ronald Ross, right? Then it is going to be caused by the three main species. So that is the Falciparum, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium vivax. So student, I have told you, which one is the malignant one here? Can you tell me which one is a malignant one? Malignant Plasmodium vivax, which is the malignant Plasmodium vivax here? In the last class, we have discussed it, right? You tell me in the chat box, okay? No problem. So see here, and other than that, we have studied that this malaria parasite is having the digenetic, right? So it is having digenetic life cycle, right? Digenetic life cycle. What do you mean by digenetic life cycle? What do you mean by digenetic life cycle, student? I have told you. It is having two hosts, right? It is having two hosts. One is the human and another one is mosquito, right? So that's why we will call it as the digenetic host, right? Fine. So then coming to the, fine. So life cycle. So can you answer me? So which is the, yeah. So Srinivas Rao Petanapati, sir, welcome to the class, sir. Okay. So student, can you tell me, I have told you that, which one is the malignant Plasmodium vivax? Which one is the malignant Plasmodium vivax? Can anyone tell me? I have told you in the last class. In the three species, which one is the malignant? I need answer from you. Answer me in the chat box. Fine. Are you remembering, student, what I told you in the last class? Plasmodium falciparum. Very good. Yes. So remember that. Okay. So that is very important. Okay. 1 minute. Yes. Plasmodium falciparum is the more malignant or the very dangerous, right? Fine. So then coming to the life cycle. So student, in the last class, I have not told you about the life cycle. Let us discuss about the life cycle, then go to the next. Okay, fine. So then coming to the life cycle. So whenever the mosquito was bite, okay, that is an infective mosquito, okay. So infected mosquito, not simply any female Anopheles mosquito. If it is bite mean, it is not going to cause the disease, okay. So it is infected mosquito, okay. In the infected mosquito saliva, it is going to be have the sporozoid, okay. It is going to be have the sporozoid. So that's why we will call it as sporozoite. Sporozoite is the infective stage. Infective stage of parasite. Okay, remember that. Sporozoite. Okay. So now what will happen? So whenever it bites, right? Whenever it bites the normal person, along with the mosquito saliva, it is going to inject this sporozoite. Okay. So see here, in the water, how the unwanted things will float, right? So the dust particle will float, right? Yes. So like that, this sporozoite is going through the or floating in the blood, and it is reaches the liver. Okay, it is reaches the liver. See here, in the liver it will reach, and in the liver cell it is going to be multiply. Okay, so it is in the liver cell, it is going to be multiply. See here, 1 minute. In the liver cell, it is going to be multiply. See here. So now the number is going to be increases. So which process it is utilizing in increasing in the increasing in the number or multiplication? That is asexual reproduction, right, student? Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. That process we will call it as schizogamy. Okay, schizogamy. Okay, through the schizogamy, it was increases in the number. Okay, so now what will happen? It goes on increasing the liver cell, right? So now what will happen? It will burst the liver cell. Okay, so it will burst the liver cell, and the sporozoite is going to be, now it is not now sporozoite. Okay, so whenever it comes into the blood, whenever it enters the liver, right? So now it was changes into the another form. So that is a schizont. Okay, schizont. So then schizont. Sorry, schizont. Okay, the schizont stage, it is going to be multiply in the liver cell. Okay, so whenever it was multiplying the liver cell, it is burst, right? It is increases in the number and it will burst, right? So now it was converted into the another stage that we will call it as the merozoite. Okay, merozoite. Okay, so now this merozoite blood, so the merozoite stage was entered into the RBC, that was entered into the blood now. See here, this merozoite now entered into the blood, which is that merozoite. Okay, so in the blood, what are the cells you can see, student? You can see the RBC, WBC, right? So, but it is going to be affect the RBC. Okay, see here, it is going to be affect the RBC. So, see here, in the RBC, it is going to be, see here, in the RBC, see here, this is the RBC. In the RBC, there is a hemoglobin is present, right? Hemoglobin, right? So this hemoglobin, it is going to be break. This hemoglobin was broken by this merozoite into the heme separate and the globin separate. Okay, so that is HAEME, heme and the globin separate. Okay, fine. So now what will happen? This globin, it is feeding, right? So this merozoite, it is going to feed on the globin, right? Feeds on globin, feeds on globin. Okay, so then what is this product? That is a heme. Heme was converted into the hemozoin now. Okay, this heme was converted into the hemozoin. Okay, hemozoin. So now what will happen? So see here, student. So in the RBC, this is the RBC, right? In the RBC also, it is goes on increasing in the number, right? Goes on increasing in the number, and it is goes on eating the RBC. It is goes on eating the hemoglobin and breaking the hemoglobin. It is feeding on the globin and separating the heme part where it is converting into the hemozoin, right? So now what will happen? Whenever it was increases in the blood, sorry, increases in the RBC, it will burst that. Okay, it will burst the RBC, and this was released into the blood, right? So along with the hemozoin, the merozoite is also releasing into the blood, right? So see here, what are the things was released, student? One is the hemozoin along with the merozoites, right? Merozoite. So that is a picture they are given here. See here, the red blood cell. So here the liver cell was broken. So see here, here the RBC was broken, right? So student, here you have to remember, here the sporozoites, sorry, here the merozoite, which is feeding on the hemoglobin, right? Which is feeding on the hemoglobin. That stage, we will call it as trophozoite. Okay, very important. Trophozoite. Okay, the feeding stage of merozoite, it is called as a trophozoite. Okay, where it is going to feed on? It feed on the hemoglobin. Okay, fine. So then what will happen? So it was in the blood now, right? The merozoites was in the blood now. Some of the merozoid is going to be converted into the gametes. Okay. Some of the merozoid is going to be converted into the gamete. Here I am writing in the down. See here. Some of merozoid convert into gametes. Convert into the gamete. So this is what we call it as the sexual state, right, student? Where it is going to be happen in the RBs, in the blood. Okay, so now what will happen? There's a female gamete was separate and the male gamete was separate, right? See here, it is a female gamete and here it is a male gamete. Okay, so now this female gamete and male gamete will move to the superficial vessel of the blood, superficial vessels of the skin. Okay, superficial vessels of the skin. So now what will happen? So this gametes was reaches into the skin, right? So now what will happen? If any mosquito will come and bite here, means what will happen? It will suck the blood from here, right? So is that the mosquito is going to be suck the blood from the liver or kidney? No, right? It is not possible, right? It is going to suck from the skin itself only, right? So whenever it will suck the blood, along with the blood, it is going to take that is a gamete. So that is a male gamete and the female gamete, right? So do you understood what I am telling? Do you understood, student, what I am telling? So now this gamete was entered into the mosquito, right? So it will enter into the mosquito stomach. See here now. Right. See here, in the mosquito stomach, what it is going to be happen? The fertilization is going to be happen. See here, the fertilization. The egg and gamete is the egg and the sperm is going to be fused there. The fertilization is going to be happen. So after the fertilization, it is going to form zygote, right? Zygote, right, student? Zygote it is going to form. So then after that, one stage will be formed. That stage we will call it as the ookinetis. Okay, student? That stage we will call it as the ookinetis. Okay. Then this ookinetis is going to be converted into the oocyst. Oocyst. Okay. So then see here, what is this oocyst? Here you can see this is a oocyst, right? In this oocyst, you are having this sporozoid. Okay. See here, this oocyst is there, right? So fine here. See here, in the oocyst, it is having all the sporozoid. Okay. See here, this all the sporozoid is there. So now what will happen? This oocyst is going to be burst in the cavity of the mosquito. Okay. Cavity of mosquito, or we can call it as a body cavity. Okay. Cavity of mosquito. Okay. So now what will happen, student? So this sporozoite was released, right? So now this sporozoite is going to be come in the saliva. Okay. It is reaches the saliva of the mosquito. Okay. So now this sporozoid was reaches saliva. Okay, saliva of the mosquito. So then what it will do next? Same thing. So now it will bite the another normal person. Then again it is going to cause the malaria, right? Yes. So this is how the Plasmodium life cycle is there. Okay. So do you have any confusion, student, here? Do you have JNV Chitradurga, Srinivas Rao, Pezanapati sir? Do you have any questions here? Do you understood here? If you have any questions, you can ask me. I will give a minute to you. Do you have any questions? Okay, then tell me, I will ask you the one question. Okay. Yeah. I will ask you the question. You can answer me. So which one is the feeding stage of malaria parasite? Can anyone tell me which one is the feeding stage of malaria parasite? Can you tell me? I am getting the answer from only one school. Okay. Yes. Can you explain it once again? Fine, sir. Can you tell me, sir, where you are getting the confusion, student? Okay, I will tell you. Once again, I will tell you. No problem. Okay. So see here. So what will happen? So now the mosquito is the normal mosquito. Okay. So now the normal mosquito, so that is a female Anopheles mosquito, whenever it bites the, okay, 1 minute. So the female Anopheles mosquito, the normal female Anopheles mosquito, it is not infected. Okay. So now the person is having the malarial disease. Okay. So its blood is having the gametes, right? So whenever the mosquito was bitten him, okay, it was infected, right? Some of the process is going to be happen in the mosquito. I will tell you in the last that what is that process. Okay. So now what will happen? This infected mosquito is going to be it is going to be bite the some person, okay, normal person. So now what will happen? Along with the saliva of the mosquito, it is going to be released the sporozoid, okay, sporozoid into the blood, okay, blood of the person, normal person. So now what will happen? Along the blood, this sporozoid was reaches into the liver cell, okay. In the liver cell, it is going to be replicate, right? So it is going to be replicate. So it is chosen the asexual reproduction where it can multiply faster, okay. It can multiply faster in the asexual reproduction. So that process, asexual reproduction, we'll call it as the schizogamy, okay. That stage, right? The stage of the parasite, we'll call it as the schizont, okay, when it was multiplying in the liver cell, okay. So now what will happen? So in the liver cell, it is multiply and then it will burst the liver cell and it will come out from the liver cell, okay. So that stage, when it was come out from the liver cell, that stage we will call it as the merozoite, okay. So now what will happen? This merozoite was entered into the blood, okay. In the blood, what will happen? The main target was the hemoglobin, okay. So RBC, okay. So RBC, it will enter into the RBC, merozoite. In the RBC, it will find the hemoglobin, okay. It will break the hemoglobin into the heme part separate and the globin part separate, okay. So now what will happen? It not require the heme, right? It require only globin, right? It will feed on the globin and it will separating the heme, okay. So now what will happen? This heme is going to be converted into the hemozoin, okay. It is converted into the hemozoin. So now what will happen? So all the merozoite was multiply in the red blood cell also, right? So whenever it was multiply in the red blood cell, like the liver cell, it is going to be burst, okay. So whenever it was burst, it was releasing into the blood and again it is going to affect the another RBC, okay. Another RBC, it is going to be affected. So along with the merozoite was released into the blood, right? It is going to release the hemozoin, right? So this is a hemozoin. It is the mainly reason for the causing the fever. Okay, student, causing the fever. You know, the malarial patient will get the fever. Today, if he got the fever, means tomorrow he will not get. Okay, day after tomorrow he will get. Because whenever this RBC was burst, it is going to release the hemozoin, right? Because of that, the release of the hemozoin, it is going to cause the fever. Okay, the main function of the hemozoin is causing the fever. Okay, so now what will happen? The stage in the RBC, stage in the blood or the red blood cell is the merozoite, right? Some of the merozoite was converted into the gamete. Okay, one is a male gamete and another one is a female gamete. Okay, so now what will happen? This gamete is going to be moved to the superficial vessel of the skin. Okay, there is a superficial vessels on the skin. It is moving through that. Okay, so whenever the another mosquito, which is not infected mosquito, was bitten. Okay, it was taking the blood along with this gamete. Okay, so now what will happen? This gametes was enter into the stomach of the mosquito. In the stomach of the mosquito, this gametes is going to be fused, male and female gametes, right? It is going to be fused. The fertilization is going to be happen in the mosquito stomach, or in some book they are given the intestine. Okay, so stomach or the intestine, the fertilization is going to be taken. So now what will happen? The zygote formation is going to be taken place, right? The zygote formation is going to be taken place. Next, zygote formation, after the zygote, it is going to form the ookinete set. Okay, ookinetes. So now, after the ookinete, is going to be changed into the oocyte, or you can call it as the oocyst. Okay, oocyst is like a box, like, okay, in the box like cover or a cover, you can say. In this cover, it is having the all the sporozoite in it. Okay, so now what will happen? In the mosquito stomach or the mosquito cavity, cyst is going to be burst. Okay, when the cyst is burst, the sporozoite is going to be released in the mosquito cavity, right? Then the sporozoite is started moving, then it is reaches into the saliva of the mosquito. Okay, next it was reaches into the saliva of the mosquito. What is that site? What is that stage we will call it as? sporozoid. Okay. So then whenever it is infecting the another person, so then the sporozoid was in the saliva of the mosquito, it is going to be affect that person. Okay. So now you understood, sir. The students from the Srinivas Rao Petanapati, sir. Student, do you have any questions here? JNV Chitradurga? Can you tell me? Sir, do you understood now, sir? Can you tell me? Okay. So now let us come to the symptoms of the malaria. So which are the symptoms? So obviously we know that fever, right? So fever is the one of the symptoms. Then we can come to the nausea. First one is the fever. The person is going to get the fever in the malaria, and sweating. Sweating, student. Second one is the headache. Headache, frequent headache is going to get, and nausea and diarrhea. Diarrhea and chills and fatigue. Chills and fatigue. Okay. So these all are the symptoms of malaria. Okay. So do you have any questions here in the symptoms? Okay. So then don't have the question means let us go to the treatment. So this treatment, when we are talking about the treatment, student, so this treatment we will call it as the modern malarial treatment. Okay, modern malarial treatment. Which are those things include? So it include artesunate. 1 minute, I'll write it once again. Artesunate. Okay, artesunate and the quinine. Artesunate, and second one is the quinine. Okay, another one is also there. So that is the mefloquine. Okay, mefloquine. So these three, obviously these two things, okay, that is artesunate and the quinine, we'll call it as modern malaria treatment. Okay, modern malaria treatment, malarial treatment. Okay, student, do you understood this? Fine. So let us go to the next. Okay, fine. So then we have to answer me. The question is, the infective stage of the plasmodium is. Can anyone tell me the infective stage of the plasmodium is? I will run the poll. I need answer from you all. Answer me in the chat box and in the poll also. Okay. So Srinivas Rao Petanapati sir, do you, the student have understood the topic, sir? They do have any questions there? Kindly tell me. If not, means I will repeat once again. So answer me in the chat box. Answer me in the. Thank you, sir. Student, answer me. So this is a very important question, student. Which is the infective stage of the Plasmodium vivax? Can you answer me? Very good, sir. Very good. Very good, student. Yes. Option B. Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yes. I'm going to share the result. Everyone answered the option B. Yes. So option B is the correct answer. Sporozoid. Right? Yes. Sporozoid. And student, here you have to remember which is the stage which is feeds on the RBC or the hemoglobin. That is the trophozoid, right? Trophozoid. And which is the stage which is present in the blood. So that is the merozoid, right? Yes. So these all the things you have to remember. And where the fertilization is going to be taken place in the stomach or the intestine of the mosquito. Fine. Okay. So they may ask you in the statement wise questions. Okay. So that's why you have to remember everything. Okay. Fine. So let us come to the next disease. So that is the amoebiosis. Okay. It is also the protozoan disease. Protozoan disease. Student, it is not compulsory. It is, you have to remember the disease name also, and whether it is the protozoan, bacterial, or the viral disease also. They may give you in the column A and the column B. So column A, they may give you amoebiosis, and in the column B, they will give you that bacterial disease, viral disease, or the protozoan disease. So what answer you will take? Protozoan disease, right? So like that also you have to remember. Okay, fine. So then coming to the, which is a causative agent? Entamoeba histolytica. So we know that it is comes under the protista, it is the protozoa, right? So why it is called as the Entamoeba histolytica? So student, do you know what do you mean by histo? Yes, very good. You know histo means, right? Histo means tissue, like what do you mean by lytica? Breakdown, right? Tissue breakdown, tissue breakdown. So student, this mainly this amoebiosis is going to be break down the small intestine. Okay, so that's why we will call it as the histolytica. Okay, it is going to break the small intestine tissue. That's why it is called as histolytica. Okay, small intestine. Okay, fine. So then how it is going to be caused? It is going to be caused through the housefly. Housefly. Okay. I think after this amoebiosis, I think you will, whatever the things you want to eat, you'll wash it properly, then you eat. Okay. So why I will tell you. So here you can see here. So whenever, so how this amoebiosis is going to be spread? Okay. It is mainly going to be spread through the housefly. Okay. So what the people's usually what we will do, we are very busy without washing the fruit or without washing the vegetables, we will eat, right? So that is very harmful, we know that, right? So we have to wash that, then we have to eat this, right? I will tell you how is the life cycle of the housefly will be, sorry, how is the life cycle of the Entamoeba histolytica. Then you will properly wash the vegetables and properly wash the fruit, then only you will eat, okay? Fine. So see here. So I think you understood this, right? Amoebiosis is going to be caused by the Entamoeba histolytica. The vector is housefly. So then how it is going to be transmitted? It is going to be transmitted through the fecal oral route. Okay. It is going to be transmitted through fecal oral route. Okay, student, this is also very important. Okay, fecal oral route. Okay, fine. So let us come to the how this life cycle is. Okay, so see here what will happen. So I will explain you in other also. First, I will explain you here first. Okay, the diagram is also there. I will explain you here first. Okay, so what will happen? The person is suffering from the amoebiosis. Okay, now the patient. Okay, he was suffering from the amoebiosis. What will happen? Through his fecals, okay, or through the stool, he will release the cyst. Okay, we will call it as a cyst, or we can call it as the zygote. Okay, the cyst. After the zygote, only cyst stage will come. Okay, the cyst is going to be passed into the stool. Okay, see here, the person is having the amoebiosis. Through his stool, he is going to release the cyst now. Okay, so now what will happen? If any housefly was sat on the stool, okay, if any housefly was sat on the stool, it is going to carry that cyst. Okay, along with that. Along with the housefly, it is going to carry the cyst now. Okay, so now what will happen? If the fly was sat on any vegetables or any fruit or any food, so what will happen? It is going to release the cyst in that. Okay, it is going to release the cyst in the vegetables or on the fruit or in the food or in the water. Okay, see here. So what will happen? See here next. Okay, so next what? Next what? So this was by means what we will do without washing the vegetables, without washing anything, without washing the fruit or vegetables, or if it was entered into the water, means what we will do? We will drink the water, or we will drink the we will eat the vegetables, right? Without washing. Now it was entered into the mouth, right? It was entered into the mouth, and it was nicely it will enter into the stomach, right? So in the stomach, it has the cyst wall, right? The cyst wall is not at all affected by the pH of the stomach. The pH of the stomach is acidic, right? It is not at all affected by the pH of the stomach. Now, it was unaltered, then it was entered into the small intestine. Okay, now it was entered into the small intestine. In the small intestine, there is a one enzyme, so that is the trypsin. Okay, there is a one enzyme, so that we will call it as the trypsin. Okay, where in the intestine, intestine. Okay, in the intestine, there is a trypsin enzyme is there. It will break the cyst wall. Okay, the cyst was there, right? So it will break the cyst wall. Cyst wall broken. Cyst wall broken. Now this cyst, now the parasite, that is the active parasite. Inside the cyst, the active parasite was present. Okay, So when the cyst wall was open, this active parasite was released. See here, this is a cyst, okay? In the cyst, there is a active parasite is there, okay? So when this cyst wall was broken by the trypsin, trypsin was broken this, right? 1 minute. Trypsin was broken this, right? So now this active parasite was released. Where it was released? In the small intestine, right? It was released into the small intestine. What it will do? The mainly I have told you, histolytica, right? It feeds on the RBC of the intestine, okay? It was feeds on the tissue of the intestine here, okay? It feeds on tissue of intestine. Okay, so it will bore the intestine. Okay, it will bore the intestine and it will damage the intestine. Okay, so that's why the person who is suffering from the amoebiosis, he will also get the bloody stool. Okay, in the stool, the blood is going to become. Okay, right. So this is about the life cycle of the Entamoeba histolytica. I will revise once again. See here, what will happen? The cyst, right? The cyst was entered through the mouth. It was unaltered in the stomach. It was unaltered by the acidic pH of the stomach. So what will happen? So now it was entered into the intestine. In the intestine, there is a trypsin enzyme. The trypsin enzyme opened the cyst wall and the active parasite was released into the intestine. So now this active parasite feeds on the tissue of the intestine and goes on damaging the intestine, right? Okay, see here. So this is what they are given here. Okay, fine. So now what will happen? So the person who is having the amoebiosis, that tissue and all the thing was damaged, right? He will pass the stool. In the cyst was passes into the stool, right? So again, whenever the fly was bite on the stool, then again it is going to carry the cyst. Okay. This is about the life cycle of the Entamoeba histolytica. Okay. Sorry, Entamoeba histolytica. Amoebiosis. Fine. So do you have any questions here, student? Can anyone tell me, do you have any questions here? Do you have any questions here in the life cycle? Can you tell me? Fine. So if you don't have any questions means, then we'll go to the symptoms. Mainly, which are the symptoms? Okay. Fine. So whenever we are talking about the symptoms, the main symptom is the abdominal pain. Abdominal pain and also the bloody stool. Okay, we can call it as the patient passes the stool along with the blood. Okay, sorry, alas, patient releases the stool and in the stool the blood is going to be released. Okay. What we'll call it as blood along with stool. Okay, student? Fine. So then some other things are abdominal pains, we have already told. That is the thing. Okay. So then which are the treatments? What are the treatments we can give for the amoebiosis? Treatment. The treatment is mainly, one is a metronidazole, and another one is tinidazole. Tinidazole. Okay, student, this is N. Okay, tinidazole. First one is the metronidazole and second one is the tinidazole. Okay, so do you have any questions here, student? Life cycle of the Entamoeba histolytica. Symptoms, abdominal pain, and student, the blood along with the stool. It is also called as amoebic dysentery. Okay, amoebic dysentery. Okay, student, remember this. The amoebic dysentery is the symptom of amoebiosis. Okay, Entamoeba histolytica. So it is a monogenetic here, right? Amoebiosis or the Entamoeba histolytica is monogenetic, whereas the malarial parasite is digenetic, right? So this is the monogenetic Entamoeba histolytica. Then fine. So student, then we are going to study about helminthic disease. Okay. So now we are observing the disease here. So that is that person leg is looks like an elephant, right? So that's why that disease name is also called as elephantiasis. Okay, elephantiasis because of the leg is looking like the elephant leg. That is the reason. Okay, fine. So let us talk about this. Helminthic disease, mainly helminthic disease, we are going to learn about the one is a flatworm and another is a roundworm. Okay. See here, the ascariasis and another one is the filariasis. Okay, let us talk about the first ascariasis. Okay, so what is the ascariasis? What is the causative agent? Student, how it is going to be spread means, see here. So sometimes the kids are usually play in the sand, right? They will play in the sand, they will play in the soil, right? So in the soil, this zygote is going to be present. Which is zygote? The Ascaris lumbricoids zygote is going to be present in the soil and it will contaminate the water also. Okay, it will contaminate the water and it will contaminate the food also in the soil. Okay, so now what will happen? If the contaminated food or the contaminated water or the soil, if anyone take means through that it is going to be caused or it is going to be spread the disease through the contaminated water and contaminated food. Okay, so remember here. So ascaris is going to be caused through contaminated water and food. Okay, remember this. Some of the disease is going to be caused through the vector mediated, right? So this is going to be caused through food and the water. Remember. Okay. So which is the causative agent? Ascaris lumbricoids. So student, remember Ascaris lumbricoids. Okay, fine. Student, it is going to mainly affect intestine. Okay, it is mainly going to affect the small intestine. In the exam, they may ask you the questions like this. Okay, in the one column they may give the Ascaris lumbricoids and another column they may give you which tissue it is going to be affect. Okay, small intestine, they may give you large intestine, or they may give you scrotum, they may give you some lower parts of the leg, this all the thing. Okay, so that's why you have to remember this. Okay, Ascaris is going to be affect the small intestine. Okay, fine. How it is going to be transmitted? I'm telling that it is going to be transmitted through the contaminated water and food. Means how it is going to be transmitted? Through the fecal oral route, right? The person who is having the ascariasis, through his fecus, is going to release the zygotes of the ascaris, right? So whenever this zygote was released into the soil and in the water and in the food, it is going to be contaminated, this all the things. Okay, fine. Then what are the main symptoms of this? Student, here have to tell one thing. Okay, the thing is, whenever this ascaris was entered through the stomach, whenever it was entered through the mouth, so it is a zygote stage, right? It is a zygote, right? So many stages is going to be taken place to give this type of the ascaris. So here in the picture, you are looking like a noodles, right? Yes. So that is come to the final stage. That is okay. The final stage, it will be in the intestine. So first, what will happen? It will enter into the stomach. So it will enter through the mouth. Then it will enter into the stomach. Then into the intestine. In the intestine, it is again going to the heart. Okay, heart. It is going to there. Okay, it is going to the heart, and there some stages is going to be taken place. Then again, it is going to the lungs. Okay, in the lungs, some of the stages is going to be taken place. Okay, then again it is going to go the trachea. Okay, trachea it is going to go. Then again from the trachea it is going to come to the intestine. Okay, so then what will happen? In the intestine, the complete stage was completed. Okay, the whole stage was completed in the intestine now. Then it leaves in the intestine. Okay, the growth, right? The growth was going to taken place in the heart, lungs, trachea. Then finally it will come to the intestine. There it is going to be leave, right? So then what will happen? In the intestine, it is going to be leave, and whatever the food we will take, student, you know that, right? The absorption, where the absorption of the food is going to be taken place? In the small intestine, right? So whichever the food we are taking, this all the thing, nutrition and all the thing was absorbed by this ascaris lumbricoids. Okay, so that is why the person who is infected by this ascaris is going to be suffer from the anemia and is going to be suffer from the weight loss, this all the thing. Okay, let us study about the symptoms. Okay, fine. See here, abdominal cramps and abdominal pain. Then obviously weight loss, I have told you that, because all the nutrition it is absorbing, right? Then what is there to observe for the patient? Sorry, for the person, right? Nothing is there. You can call it as a patient also, because he was suffering from the ascaris, right? That's why. then malnutrition, then vomiting. Okay, so this all the thing is going to be the symptoms of ascaris. Remember this. Okay, abdominal pain, weight loss, anemic condition, and also the malnutrition and the vomiting. Okay, so this is like student, whenever the person is affected by the ascariasis, if he eat so much also, is not at all becoming the fat. Okay, because the all the thing was taken by the ascariasis only, right? So that is the reason. Okay, so then coming to the life cycle, mainly the life cycle was monogenetic life cycle. The single host is there, right? It is not at all having the two hosts, right? Only human it is going to be affected. That's why we'll call it as monogenetic life cycle. Okay, fine. Then what are the treatment we are going to give? Treatment. So the here they will give the tablet for the once in a year. Okay, once in a year it will kill all the ascaris in the stomach. Okay, so that we will call it the albendazole. Okay, albendazole. Albendazole. Yearly once they will give. If any zygotes or if any ascaris is there in the stomach, means it will kill all the things. Okay, so we'll call it as jantula something, right? So yeah, so that is the thing. Okay, fine. Albendazole and mebendazole. Mebendazole. Easy to remember, right, student? Zole is there in the end. Mebendazole and also the albendazole. Okay, so they will give for this ascariasis. Do you have any confusion here? The ascaris, how it is going to be transmitted? Through the contaminated water and the food. So what is the main causative agent here? Ascaris lumbricoides. How it is going to be transmitted? Through the fecal oral route. Okay. So fine. I think you understood this. Again, one more thing is there. Wait. Yes. So filariasis. Filariasis. Okay. Filariasis, I have already told that it is also called as elephantiasis. Elephantiasis. Okay. So then what is the causative agent here? Causative agent. I will write Ca. Okay. One minute. Which is the causative agent here, students? So that is Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay. Wuchereria bancrofti. Bancrofti. Okay. And the another species is also there. So that is, we call it as Wuchereria malai. Okay. So that is Wuchereria bancrofti and another one is the Wuchereria malai. Okay. So see here, what will happen? So student, here you have to remember that it is mainly going to affect the lymphatic vessel. Okay. So where it is going to affect? Mainly lymphatic vessel. Lymphatic vessel. Okay. So that is, you can see the lower parts. Okay. Lower parts of the lymphatic vessel. It will also affect the upper parts also, but more in the lower parts. Okay. Lower parts you can take in the male. So that is the scrotum and in the legs. Okay. In the males, it is going to be. So let us go to the symptoms. Okay. Symptoms I will tell you. See here, what is the causative agent? Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai. So mainly where it is going to be affect, it is going to affect the lymphatic vessel. It is very, very important. Lymphatic vessel. Okay. The symptoms, swelling, right? So the person leg is looking like an elephant leg because of the swelling, right? Yes. So that is swelling of legs and scrotum. Okay, scrotum of the voice. Okay, scrotum. So that is swelling of the leg and the scrotum, it is going to be affected. Okay, fine. See here now. So then, so this is about the symptoms. That's it. Okay, so that is the Wuchereria bancrofti and the Wuchereria malai is a causative agent. And the thing is, what is the what are the main symptoms? Swelling of the legs and the scrotum. And upper part is also going to be affected, but mainly the main part is lower part. Okay, so then yeah. So then coming to the treatment. So which are the treatment they are going to give? Okay, so can anyone guess which treatment they can give you? Can anyone guess which are the treatment they can give you? Albendazole. Okay, so they are going to give the albendazole, which is the one minute. Albendazole albendazole with dexamethasone. Dexamethasone. So where you have studied the dexamethasone, student? Where you have studied the dexamethasone? Can anyone tell me? Where you have studied the, sorry, albendazole? In the ascariasis also I have told you albendazole, right? But along with the albendazole, here they are going to use the dexamethasone also. Okay, fine. So this is about the elephantiasis. Okay, it is not at all going to be affect the only male. It is going to affect the female also. Okay, fine. So how it is going to be transmitted? How it is going to be transmitted, student? It is going to be transmitted through the Culex mosquito. Okay, Culex mosquito. Okay, then it is digenetic, right? Yes, it is digenetic. Okay, filariasis or the elephantiasis is the digenetic. Ascariasis is the monogenetic. Okay, yes. So digenetic here the mosquito and also the human, right? So that is the reason. Okay, Culex mosquito. Not only the Culex mosquito, by the some other mosquito is also going to be caused. Okay. So the person, now this person was affected, right? Some mosquito, Culex mosquito or some mosquito was bitten him. Okay. So now the same mosquito, that is infected mosquito, bite the another normal person, means he is also going to get this elephantiasis or filariasis. Okay. Fine. So this is about the helminthes disease. Then coming to the fungal disease. Okay. So student, whenever we are talking about the fungal disease, which are the fungal disease will come to your mind? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me? Athlete foot. Athlete foot. Right. Then yeast infection. Yeast infection. In the vagina, the yeast infection will be going to be caused. Yeast infection. And another one is the ringworm disease. Ringworm disease. Okay, student? Fine. So, see here, in the picture, you are observing that is the ringworm disease. We are going to study about that. Okay. So, in all the disease, we have studied about the one species is going to be caused the disease, right? So, here, the causative agent is 3. Okay. So, one is a microsporum. Second one is a trichophyton. And third one is epidermophyton. So, student, it is compulsory or it is important to remember this all the 3 things. Okay. Causative agent. One is a microsporum, trichophyton and epidermophyton. Okay, this epidermophyton, it is going to cause on the skin. Okay, fine. See here. So whichever the part it is going to be affect means. So if you take the nails, okay, in the nails also it is going to be caused the ringworm disease, and on the skin also going to get the ringworm disease, and on the scalp, okay, and on the scalp, on the head, the scalp, right? Scalp also you are going to get this ringworm disease. Okay, that is a fungal disease. How it is going to look like? It is look like a very dry, scaly lesion. Okay, it is a very looks like dry, scaly lesion. Okay, see here. So how it is going to be transmitted? For example, if anyone having the fungal disease, okay, by using a spume and right, so this scalp was infected, right? By using that person's spume and by using the any towel, because he was wiping his face and the body, right? So by using that towel only, it is going to be cause the fungal disease. Okay, it is going to be transmitted through that towel or by the comb, by the other things. Okay, yes. So that is direct contact and use of the cloth and the towel of the patient, you are going to get the disease. Okay. So here you have to remember, student, by direct contact with the infected person, also by touching the infected person and by shaking hand, by that also you are going to get this fungal disease. So that is the tinea. We'll also call it as the tinea and the ringworm. Okay, fine. Which are the symptoms? See here, I have told you now only, right? Itchy, scaly patches. Okay, it will look like itching. Okay, it will cause the itchingness. Okay, so that is itchy, scaly patches. It will be dry. Okay, itchy, scaly patches and bald patches on the beard. On the beard also, it is going to get the patches. Okay, mainly on the scalp and mainly on the nails and on the skin also. Okay, fine. So these all the things about the ringworm disease. So what is the treatment? Symptoms we have studied. What is the treatment here? Treatment, antifungal cream. They will give the antifungal cream and the antifungal tablets is there, means they will give you. Okay, this is mainly they will give the creams. Okay, antifungal cream. Okay, so do you have any questions, student, here? Do you have any questions here? Can anyone tell me? Do you have any questions here? Ringworm disease. Remember, Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. Okay, it is very important. Okay, fine. So through the direct contact, and remember scaly, so that is the itchy, scaly patches, and on the skin, nails, and also on the scalp. Okay. So if you understood this means, let us go to the next part. So that is now the common disease was completed, right? In the human health and disease. Then go to the immunity. Okay. So before going to start the immunity, let us answer this question. Okay. The question is, which is the largest defensive organ of human body? Okay. Can anyone answer to this question? Option A is liver. Option B is skin. And option C is spleen. And option D is intestine. Okay, so you can answer me in the poll and you can answer me in the chat box also. Okay, student, I will run the poll. You can answer me in the chat box or you can answer me in the poll. Very good. I am getting the answer. Yes, very good. Both of them answered. Yes. Very good, student. Yes. Skin, right? Yes. Yes. So skin is the largest, wait. Skin, right? Yes. Skin is the largest defensive organ, right? Yes. Fine. Let us go to the topic. What are the things we are going to study in the immunity? Okay. So student, we are going to study about the immunity. What is actually immunity? Okay. So then, which are the types of the immunity? By birth only we'll get some types of the immunity. That is the innate immunity, right? So then acquired immunity, by during the lifetime we will get the immunity, that is acquired immunity. So those things, and those things we are going to study. Okay. One is acquired immunity and the innate immunity. Only this much? No. So other than this, we are going to study passive immunity, and active immunity. Active immunity. Student, I have a question for you. Can anyone tell me, all of you have taken the vaccine, right? Corona vaccine you have taken, right? In all the chain, everyone is taken, right? Okay. Can you tell me whether it is a passive immunity or active immunity? Can anyone tell me whether it is a passive immunity or active immunity? If you know means you can tell me. So that also we are going to study. Okay. So then we are going to study about allergy. Okay. Some of the people will have the allergy, right? If you go to the dust, they will get the allergy, right? Yes. About that we are going to study. And the thing is autoimmunity. Autoimmunity. Sometimes what will happen? Our immune cell will damage ourselves only. Okay. So about that we are going to study, that is autoimmunity. Okay. So then finally we are studying about vaccine also, student. Which are the types of the vaccine, how it is going to be, which are the types of the, how the vaccine is going to be prepared. This all the things we are going to study, not in detail, less. Okay, fine. So these all the things we are going to study. No, okay. No, it is not the passive immunity. It is the active immunity. Okay, student. So it is the active immunity only. Okay. The passive immunity is like that. So do you know during the corona, some elder people, can't able to synthesize the antibodies in our body. So that's the reason they told the young people to give your blood, right? Give your blood, in that they will take the antibodies, then they will give to the older people, right? Because so that is act as a passive immunity. Okay. That is act as a passive immunity. The antibody was synthesized in the some other person body, then that was injecting into the another person, right? That we will call it as a passive immunity. For example, if you take, if the some person, it was bitten by the snake, okay? So immediately, can we leave that person like the antibody will be secreted in our body only? No, right? The person will be die, right? For that, we will give the anti-venom, right? The anti-venom we will give, right? So that is also the pre-synthesized antibody, right? That is anti-venom antibody, okay? So that is antibody will give to the person who is bitten by the snake, right? Immediately will be cured, right? The antibodies, that is, right? Yes. So the antibodies which is prepared from the outside the body, we will call it as a passive. Okay. So then from the mother to the child, from the mother to the child through the breast milk will go, right? That antibodies, that is also the passive immunity. Okay. From the other person, from the mother, it is going to be, right? So that is the reason. Another one, active immunity, simply any bacteria was infected me or the coronavirus infected me, right? So now I am synthesizing the antibodies in me, right? So that's why that we will call it as the, 1 minute, that type we will call it as the active immunity. So that is natural, okay? That is natural active immunity, natural active immunity. Okay, that is natural active immunity. So that is, I only infected by the, naturally I'm infected by the virus or the any bacteria. Then antibody was synthesized in my body, right? That's why I'm calling it active immunity. In my body only antibody was secreting, right? And there is another thing was, so that is the artificial active immunity. So that is artificial active immunity. Okay, our vaccine was comes here. Okay, so that is vaccine, will call it as artificial active immunity. So here I am not at all going to expose to the virus or bacteria. What you are doing here, the vaccine, the virus is there, that we are going to inject that through the vaccine. You are going to insert the virus into my body, right? Through the vaccine, they are inserting the virus into our body intentionally, right? So that's why we will call it as artificial active immunity. Okay, student, that is artificial active immunity. So fine. So these all the things. Do you have any questions? You can ask me, or I will go for the NPS poll. You can give me your valuable feedback. We'll continue in the next class. Okay. So thank you so much, JNV Chitradurga, Srinivas Rao Petanapati sir. Do you have any questions, student? Time was over. Let us meet in the next class. Okay. So till that, work hard, study more. All the best for your studies. Okay. Fine. So you can give me your feedback. JNV Chitradurga, Srinivas Rao, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much, student. Take care.